We're back with WSJ Lunch Break. I'm Wendy Bounds. Computer games, it turns out, may improve brain function and reverse cognitive decline more than crossword puzzles. At least that's according to one recent study. We have Wall Street Journal health columnist Sumathi Reddy here on set with us, as well as University of Iowa public health professor and a lead researcher on the study, Fred Wolinsky. He joins us from Iowa City. Thanks to you both so much for being here. Fred, I actually want to go to you first, since you performed this study out of your university. How were the subject matters actually tested in this game, which was, I think, originally called Road Tour, but later renamed to be something else?
Yes, the new name is Double Decision, and the testing involves 6 standard neuropsychological tests, assessments, and in particular, these tap different aspects of speed of processing and executive function in middle-aged and older adults.
And the game itself that they were playing, what are they doing in the game? We're looking at some pictures right here, but tell us sort of the purpose of the game.
Sure. The purpose of the game has to do with trying to enhance the useful field of view that the individual has. As we age, our field of vision collapses in upon us, so we get to see and make use in particular of less information out in the periphery. And so what this cognitive training program tries to do is expand the useful field of view for older adults to increase their ability to enhance their selective attention and their divided attention. So as the individual's playing the game, if you will, what you see in the center of the screen is a license plate, and in that license plate there's either a car or a truck. And then there's a circle of moons, 8 moons in particular, around the license plate. 7 of those are rabbit crossing signs, and 1 of those is a Route 66 sign.
Gotcha.
And the object is to view the screen for as small as possible time as you can and be able to determine and tell us correctly whether it was a car or a truck in the license plate and which of the moons or circles had the Route 66 sign.
Okay, I got it. Now, Sumathi, there's an enormous amount of research dollars being poured in to tests that will either ward off cognitive decline or perhaps, if we're lucky, even improve our cognitive function. I'm wondering how this latest test actually fits in with the real world. In other words, does that improve processing speed shown on a test? Will that translate into processing speed in the things we do in everyday life?
This particular study did not test that. It did more like neuropsych tests. There was a very large, sort of similar government-funded study about 10 years ago, which did show that participants who did the cognitive training, I think, had a 50% reduction in motor vehicle collision rates, which is obviously a pretty robust finding. So there is some evidence of that in some studies, but there are some researchers who say we need to see more of that. Like, are you just improving on this game that you're training in, or are you actually going to be able to not get into a car accident and not cook faster and do this and that?
And one of the things I thought was so interesting about this particular study is it did tend to show some impact on people who were younger, who may not be in their 70s yet, but who may have been in their 50s or so forth. And that's really important given, I guess, the aging population of baby boomers. Everybody's out there is looking sort of for this magic wand, right, to keep that cognitive decline from ever happening.
And that the cognitive decline starts pretty early. I mean, as early as your 20s or 30s,
right.
even. Like, sort of.
Oh, no.
I know. So the fact that this showed equal results in both populations was considered very exciting to a lot of researchers. So.
Hey, Dr. Lynskey, one last quick question to you. Do you have to continually play these games in order to have the benefits sustainable, or is it like you improve and you keep that improvement?
It's a very good question. The very good news is in our study, people played the game for about 10 hours during the first 5 to 8 weeks of their 1-year follow-up time. And the results have lasted out to a year. And in the previous study that Sumathi mentioned, we followed people out for 5 years, and the 10 hours of training at baseline lasted and had its effects that far out. In particular, when she mentioned the effect on reduction in motor vehicle collisions, that was going forward for 6 years. So 10 hours of this training can have profound and prolonged effects in improving cognitive function.
Interesting. Such a hot area of research right now. Dr. Wolinsky, thanks so much for being with us. Sumathi Reddy, appreciate you being here as well. More in the personal journal section tomorrow.